Well, boys, I guess we're all just about a little bit nervous. It's a pressurized world. All I know is one thing. Comes 1:30, somebody's got to hit and somebody's got to get hit. Choose your sides. Choose your sides. Let's get ourselves in the right frame of mind to play football. Carry out your assignment. When in doubt, pick out a blue shirt and hit it. And don't let records mislead you. Don't worry about what somebody has done prior to today, because today's the day that counts. You boys have the opportunity that many other boys from Brick Township never, ever had. You got it today. And you can go out there today and show them what type of a football team we have. Just one moment, because I want you to hear this straight. You can go out there and show them the type of football that Brick plays. Baby, let's get out there!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Rutgers Dynasty here on College Football 27. Hopefully you enjoyed that intro, and that's going to be our head coach throughout this dynasty. That's New Jersey high school legend Warren Wolf. We're going to commemorate him in this dynasty. You know, for the longest time, the Rutgers football team, especially since joining the Big Ten, have just been in turmoil. It's been a long time since they've had a winning football team, but if there's a man for the job, we believe it's Warren Wolf. A Brick Township head coach legend from the state of New Jersey, 364 all-time wins at the high school level, and we are going to commemorate him in this dynasty, make him the head coach, and hopefully bring some winning football to the state of New Jersey. You know, as pretty much a lifelong Jersey resident, it's always been the secondary team growing up. It was always, you know, me or my friends, we'd be a Michigan fan, and then secondary, we liked Rutgers, but we're trying to make Rutgers the primary team now here in the state of New Jersey. Welcome to JVids Gaming, and welcome to this Rutgers dynasty here at the opening kickoff for the first time, as we are now underway now from Shai Stadium from Piscataway, New Jersey. Hopefully an easy episode here to start, you know, ease our way into this dynasty against the UMass Minutemen, who went 0-12 last season. Actually, their head coach is the former defensive coordinator of Rutgers, so a familiar opponent here for this Rutgers football team. And as we said, the UMass Minutemen went 0-12 last season, so we're trying to keep that losing streak going here to start this year one season of this dynasty. Again, welcome to JVids Gaming. This is what we're all about here on the channel. We're trying to rebuild these teams on some other games. We have expansion franchises going, so I really enjoy building, you know, poor programs, poor teams, whatever you want to call it, into winning cultures and winning programs. So right off the rip, though, the Minutemen do get a first down, and defensively we are going to run a primary 4-2-5 playbook. Of course, a lot of nickel looks as well, but we have 3-3-5 fronts and a 3-4 front in our defensive playbook as well. Offensively, we're going to run the Rice playbook. There's a lot of wing T there, as Coach Wolf made the wing T offensive system his pedigree and his calling card at the high school level, but now catapulted up to the Division I level, as we're going to try and rebuild this Rutgers football program. The Minutemen go to the ground there on 2nd and 6 to get 1 yard, which is going to bring up a quick 3rd and 5 now. And I think that was an offensive lineman out for an injury timeout. We are using MAT 10 sliders from Operation Sports. So if you have any suggestions on the slider sets or really anything gameplay-wise, let me know. I haven't poured much time into the gameplay yet, as that's going to be William Watson III on 3rd down, as he goes across midfield, and the fumble is scooped up by his teammate, and it's going to be brought all the way down for a touchdown. What was that? And that is how we're going to start this dynasty. Harding there to scoop up the fumble in stride. You know, you're taught to pounce on it. That's T.Y. Harding, and he takes that all the way to the house on a scoop and score. Not your conventional scoop and score. And William Watson III, a lot of green grass ahead, as he was able to scramble for the first down. We forced a fumble, and it's taken all the way back to the house, but maybe they'll call it ground forced, and there is not going to be a review. So a clean fumble, and Harding scoops it all the way for the touchdown. And just like that, 2 minutes into the game, the Minutemen on top 7-0. Absolutely bizarre result there. Now Benjamin on the return here, one of our reserve running backs behind Antoine Raymond, who was the 3rd leading rusher in the Big Ten last season and returns as the leading rusher. But there's KJ Duff, our highest overall rated player at 92 overall, played basketball at St. Anthony's, and I can already foresee a bunch of jump balls in his future. But AJ Surace is the starting quarterback here in week 1. We're also going to get Dylan Lonergan some snaps, the Boston College transfer. First play here, a give for Antoine Raymond, and he'll take that ahead for 11. Surace and Lonergan are going to split time here in week 1, as they were very evenly matched throughout the spring. And now on first down, Surace, his first drop back. As we're going to go slants here, KJ Duff there makes the grab as he works across midfield. His first catch of the season, our first completion of the Dynasty. That goes for 26. If our offense is going to be successful, it's going to be paramount for Antoine Raymond and KJ Duff to carry the load, as now we stack the line. And we'll go back to the running game, and Antoine Raymond just won that time. And as I mentioned, we are going to run the Rice playbook, a lot of wing T looks, but we're definitely going to rely on the running game over the course of this Dynasty. Coach Wolf likes a physical presence and definitely relies on the running backs. And now here we're going to go play action for the first time. Just dump it off for Raymond. Give him the ball in space, makes a man miss on the spin, makes another man miss on the juke, and off the dump off he gets 16. And as I mentioned, I have not played much so far in College Football 27, so bear with me. It's definitely going to be a little acclimation period here, especially from the start off the triple option that we do. Pitch it there for Vernon Allen, the 3rd. Allen to the corner, and he is going to dive for the touchdown. And our first touchdown of this series comes by way of triple option. So we answer that bizarre touchdown from the UMass opening drive, and we reach pay dirt of our own. Vernon Allen, the 3rd, a receiver, but working there on the triple option. And our scheme, it's going to rely a lot on misdirection, on fakes, on sticking to your assignments. And there you see it. Allen, like I said, a receiver, but he catches the pitch that time, and he wins the foot race to the end zone, wins the corner, and dives in for the touchdown. So with the extra point, it's now tied up 7-7. We definitely need our defense to answer. I mean, I wasn't really paying too much focus in that opening drive a lot, with the intro going on. So hopefully we can get our feet underneath us here and start to play some good defense, because this Rutgers defense was 126 last year in total defense. They brought in like 9 transfers defensively that are going to figure to be impact players. We did get some interior pressure that time, could not finish, as Watson has to get rid of it. But just off the top of my head, 3 of the 4 defensive line starters are transfers. We have J. Dan Burnett coming over from Tulsa, Malachi Davis from Toledo, and Rondarius Porter coming from Appalachian State, as again Watson going to step up and run. He slides after 4. Now on 3rd and 6, we'll go with the nickel set here, as Watson the 3rd from the shotgun. And they are going to get the false start, so the hard count does not work out in his favor, as they're going to go back 5. In the linebacking core, we have Ty Morris, who transfers from Rice, one of their leading tacklers from last season, also 9.5 tackles for loss from him in his last season as an Owl. Now William Watson III across his body does hit a man over the middle of the field, and that is Harding, the man who scooped and scored that touchdown earlier. Now he makes a big 3rd down grab over the middle of the field, as we kind of lost our zone on that one. Now directly under center is Watson with 2 tight ends up on the line. As they go man in motion, they do give it to him, as he will be stopped for a minimal gain. UMass now at midfield, and we are going to send a corner blitz this time. Not too aggressive so far, as Watson III making a change. And he does go on the drop back. Again, a quick one over the middle, as again we missed our first tackle, but that's Kosh Sanders coming downhill to make the stop. And now a single back for the Minutemen. Again, they go a quick one here on the RPO bubble screen, I want to say that was, and that goes for 6 yards. That's definitely going to be the name of the game for the Minutemen, I think, getting rid of the ball quickly, because this Rutgers defensive line is improved from what they had last year. And again, off the fake, Watson, perfect read that time, hits his man over the middle, and they are now in the red zone for the first time in this game. This Rutgers defense not standing up to the challenge thus far, and we are going to have to figure it out. And now Watson again going to run here, and we missed a tackle there going downhill, as Watson does break into the second level, gets a good gain and a first down. And now here's 2nd and goal from the shotgun again. Man in motion, as Watson on the drop back tries to get that to a man. Actually, he does. A little dump off there, I think, for the tight end, as that did not amount to much. And it's now 2nd and goal. They're backed up to the 10-yard line. Again, Watson takes the snap. Going to go for a screen here. A lot of just, quick setup passes here for the Minutemen. And it does get positive yardage. Splits the difference now down to the 5. Less than 2 minutes now remaining in this first quarter of play. Minutemen third down at the 5. Watson on the drop back and try and step up and run, and we do get the stop that time short of the goal line. That was Walker on the initial hit, and they're going to bring out the wing tight Z here with 3 tight ends. And the Minutemen playing it aggressively here, as you would expect on the road against a Big Ten team, as they're going to go on the drop back here, and Watson will be brought down for the sack. That's Ty Morris, who we were talking about, the transfer out of Rice, and he makes a huge play early on the sack, and he forces the turnover on downs here inside our own 10-yard line, as we will now take over. What a play. We definitely needed that. And this is kind of a funky formation. You're going to have to get used to some of these looks. As Surace takes the snap, we'll just dump that off for Antoine Raymond. Again, his second catch already. That gets 10, second and inches coming up. Second and inches here. Benjamin checks into the backfield for the first time. Gets it on the counter as he runs behind a block and gets the first down, which will more than likely take us into the second quarter, unless we want to call a play here, but we will just let time tick off, as that's our first quarter here in this Rutgers Dynasty in the books. As I've been saying, welcome to JVids Gaming, welcome to this Dynasty, as we hope to get a long, fruitful Dynasty, a new series here on the channel. And, a big motivation of starting this one was just being a, lifelong New Jersey native and wanting to make Rutgers one of the premier teams here in the Big Ten Conference. Of course, the only FBS team in New Jersey. So Warren Wolf and us, we have our work cut out for us as we try and compete in what is the toughest division, I would say, in all of college football. Now here to start the second quarter, 7-7. We are at the 19. A give here for Blake up the middle. I believe a tight end, actually, as we give it to him up the middle, or maybe our starting fullback, I want to say. I don't know if we have a traditional fullback on the roster. That is an area we are going to have to look to improve in recruiting. And Blake is still in the backfield here. And that is the case. He's our starting fullback, so he's going to get some carries, unfortunately. But, he looked pretty good the first time, and the holes are opening up for him. So maybe we should just stick with it. And now here on first down, we're going to go play action cross. Surace has a much better play action rating than Dylan Lonergan, who will probably throw in on the next series, depending on what happens here. And again, we go play action. Surace going to roll to the right. Going to try and set and get that for a tight end. That might have been Cameron Anthony, the transfer from Ball State, but instead that sails incomplete. So second down, and we'll go back here for Antoine Raymond. He's looked very good early on, picking up right where he left off, and that time he gets 8, going to set us up 3rd and 2. And we'll go right back to him up the middle here. 3rd and 2 from Shai Stadium, as we were beat there on the block, but good assessment there to change the lane. And Raymond gets the first down, as we have a fresh set here at the 49. And again, we will go triple option here, but we will keep it for Raymond up the middle, but one-on-one he does lose that matchup. And now here on 2nd and 8, and Surace takes the snap. Going to try and get Rothar there, but on the run, not the best throw, as that goes incomplete. 3rd and 8, let's go halfback attack, and I'm not going to get used to Blake being that fullback here, lining up in the backfield as much as he has. We definitely need a more traditional fullback on this roster. And Surace will just dump it off for him, and Blake gets the first down, and that one will take it, as he is making an impact right now. His first catch there goes for their first down, and he also had a couple rushes up the gut that he got good results on. Now on the jet sweep here, we'll try and get Ben Blake going, as he does have some space. Good blocks there to the outside, as Blake will work that ahead for 14. And correction, that's Ben Black. I'm used to Blake here, who's been at fullback, at halfback a little bit as well. So a first down at the 26, and we'll go right back to Antoine Raymond here, as he works that ahead for 5. And now the Minutemen kind of tight there on the line. We do have a bunch of tight ends out there. 4 tight ends, or make it 3, with an extra offensive lineman. As we will go back to Raymond. Can he break it outside? He does. So our blocking holds up, as Antoine Raymond into the end zone. And this is his first touchdown of the season. And Rutgers takes the lead. We fell behind early 7-0, but have since settled down a little bit. And we now take the 14-7 lead, pending the extra point. And this might be the mainstay of our offensive identity this season. Just give it to Antoine Raymond, and hopefully our offensive line can hold up their end of the deal, which they certainly did that time. And Raymond, like I said, picking up right where he left off, one of the best rushers in all of the Big Ten last season, as he tries to follow the likes of Kyle Monungai, Isaiah Pacheco as running backs to be drafted into the league. You could also add Ray Rice to that list, and you can't forget Brian Leonard, a Rutgers legend in his own right. So that was a 13-play, 92-yard drive. You remember we forced that turnover on downs and picked it up at the 8-yard line. So, you know, if the Minutemen score a touchdown that time, that's like a 14-point swing we're looking at, as we are now ahead 7 with 6:30 remaining in the first half. But still, going back to that last drive, they were able to move the ball very well on us. We won a drive where we, you know, just forced that 3 and out and really established ourselves on both sides of the ball. They will go to the run game here to start the drive, and that's a good tackle out in space by Gilly. And I did mention earlier as well, we are on MAT 10 sliders there, All-American sliders that is. Wanted to ease myself into this installment, and we will tweak when necessary. Probably going to be a fluid, ongoing process to get the slider set right. As now Watson the third again going to try and step up and run. Good coverage so far throughout this game for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And Watson has been privy to that as he has been making quick decisions to step up and run. But now 3rd and 8 as they do go empty. We bring out the nickel set here in the passing situation as Watson the third going to roll out to the right. Has a man open, but it's dropped, a wide open drop. And you cannot be having that. Watson the third has been, you know, very well when creating space and making plays happen, extending plays, but that time just an outright drop, and that is absolutely inexcusable. Now Ben Black on the return as he's carving his way upfield, and he'll work that all the way to the 40-yard line. So tremendous starting field position here for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights as we take over, and Blake again will be the back here. We're gonna have to go into formation subs and tinker with that a little bit, but just the first game I wanted to jump into some gameplay. We did, of course, do our due diligence on the depth chart, but I wasn't sure what to expect when it came to our playbook and all that. So here, taking over, we're going to try and take a shot, maybe actually just get rid of that one as that right tackle we had got beat bad, and we were forced to throw it away. So 2nd down, at the very least, you know, you want to end this drive with a field goal, make it a 2-possession game, especially take advantage of the tremendous field position. That's Asamoah, I believe, at right guard or left guard, who just set the tone up there with a pancake block and really opened up a lane for Antoine Raymond, as we do suffer the injury timeout though. And now a 3rd and 3, Benjamin is the back. Give Raymond a little bit of rest here on 3rd down as Benjamin broke first contact there and was able to reset and get the forward progress for the 1st down. It did look like he was stalling out a little bit there off the exchange, but does get the 1st down instead. So at this rate, we're just going to, I guess, continue to play Serace for the remainder of this first half and then put Dylan Lonergan in for the second half. So 1st down at the 28 as we'll go option here. We meant to keep that with the quarterback, but Raymond will be brought down for a 2-yard loss. And now we're looking at play action read, but again, we might just check to a run. You know, we're not going to go over the top here, just play it safe and try to keep this lead, or actually extend it, but we definitely don't want to turn the ball over. And a short gain that time from Benjamin as we go to the halfback screen here to Antoine Raymond on 3rd down. Already 2 catches for him. He's close to 100 yards from scrimmage already, and he's probably in line to be a Big Ten All-American this season. As we'll take the snap here on 3rd down, try and set up the screen there for Raymond as his blockers set up. He has a lane. Raymond now up the sideline as he was working that way, gets 19, knocked out at the 10-yard line. Antoine Raymond and KJ Duff are the only 2 players on this Rutgers roster who caught more than 8 balls last season. Raymond already a trio of catches here to start as we just get the snap off, and we'll try and get that to Thievenin. That is the transfer from Louisiana Tech, Clay Thievenin. His first touch is a catch, and he is a running back, led the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in rushing last season. And now 2nd and 5 at the 5 as we hit the 2-minute timeout. And we actually have someone that's hurt. Our starting tight end right now is red on the wear and tear, so we're going to have to make some moves there. Very limited at tight end as well, so our personnel currently on the roster does not really fit our playbook all that much, but we're going to just try and go for KJ Duff here, and that might have been a little bit too close for comfort, but we were trying to get our playmaker a look there, and we probably should have just ran it, kept the clock moving, if not finding pay dirt. So here on 3rd and 5, we'll go draw here for Benjamin, as he will be short of the goal line, and the Minutemen do call a timeout, but just like they did earlier, we're probably just going to play it aggressive here and try and get that touchdown. A field goal does make it a 2-possession game, but I mean, we have Antoine Raymond, and we also have now 3 tight ends on the field. Rothar is back out there despite being very hurt on the wear and tear. And here on fourth down, go for Antoine Raymond, and he breaks the arm tackle into the end zone. Going to showcase the Heisman pose already, and maybe he's foreshadowing something to come here. If we can get Rutgers a Heisman Trophy winner, that would certainly be something. But 3 for 3 now to start this dynasty, which you definitely like to see, especially against a team like the Minutemen. I was not sure how this game was going to go just because, like I said, I have not played the game much. We very well could have came out here and just been embarrassed, which there's plenty of time left for that. If you've been following along, I had that Marquette Golden Eagles dynasty on college football, or I'm sorry, on NCAA 14. We took that 6 seasons. We had a Kennesaw State Owls dynasty on college football 25, which it kind of lost its momentum, only made it like 3 seasons in that. But this Rutgers dynasty going to try and make it at least 5 or 6 seasons. That's usually what the stop point, I feel like, for my series at this point on the channel are, as UMass a return up the middle, and we just need to be more focused here, getting off on my tangents. But the Minutemen still have plenty of time here to strike, and they still have a couple timeouts as well. 21-7, 146 left in this first half in week 1 from Shai Stadium. Watson, they're going to roll to his left, does complete that to the sideline as his man gets a few more yards, and he does go out of bounds, so the clock does stop to their benefit. 2nd and inches. Watson, a delay give there as we just totally vacated our assignment, and we have to play better assignment football here. That's really the basis of this Warren Wolf defense. Stick to your assignments and good things will happen. And now empty is Watson. Rolling to the right now over the middle, and that's going to be jarred free by Ty Morris. Met the ball carrier at the catch point, and that was forced free, so incomplete. 127 now left on 2nd down. Watson again on the drop back. Going to be chased, and he would be brought down for the sack. And that's our 2nd sack now in this first half. A big one that time, forcing him all the way back. Going to be 3rd and 17. And I mean, we could be in a spot to call a timeout, but we're not going to be too greedy. We'll just take what we can get. And it's Zaire Ngoy, defensive tackle, as he just totally toppled the offensive lineman. He pancaked the offensive lineman. It's usually the other way around, but we get home to the quarterback again, which forces them back 3rd and a mile or 2. And they're going to try and set up a screen there as they do get some space, and we do get the hard hit, but we'll call a timeout as we force the punt here towards the end of the first half. And now on for the punt is Phillipson. That one just way high in the sky, and we'll just fair catch that at the 22. So we are going to keep AJ Sarace out there, but we're just probably going to stick to the ground game, see if we can get Raymond a big one, and maybe work into field goal range. So good blocking up front. That's what I'm talking about. Antoine Raymond just breaking into the 2nd level with ease, as that one goes for 16. He's already up to 77 rushing yards in this first half of play. And now in this specific scheme, KJ Duff is not even on the field, which you need him out there, but we'll call the play regardless, as really nothing opening up, and we will just throw that one away. So obviously a lot to learn as we go along in this dynasty, especially in this year 1 season early on. We're going to have to do a lot of adjustments, a lot of note-taking, and just figure out the secret recipe here to success, if you will, as we try and get the best product here on the field and on the channel. So again here, we're going to go for AJ Sarace downfield as he tries and hooks up with Allen, who had the touchdown earlier. That does hit him in the hands, but falls harmlessly incomplete. As we'll now try again here, and KJ Duff there on that left side on an island, as they do finally back off there. So they kind of saw what we were doing. We'll just go back to a slant. He was playing press, so we were going to go a 9 ball there to KJ Duff, but they now bring the cushion. And now on 3rd down, they have double coverage there on Duff, but he still breaks free over the middle of the field as KJ Duff hauls that in past the 40-yard line as he barrels ahead all the way down to the 36. That's what we got to do through the passing game. I expect a lot of growing pains, especially when we start playing teams like USC, Michigan, Ohio State. Like, we're not going to hold up too well, so we're going to have to try and figure that out beforehand. As now Sarace again takes the snap. I guess we'll throw B here, going back to the ball. That might be a loss, though, as that is a loss. A very bad decision, and I didn't realize we had no more timeouts left to work with, so we're going to have to just throw a pass here if we can get the snap off, and that is total clock management issues there towards the end of the first half. Like I said, I've been getting so lost in my tangents throughout this episode, just really establishing what is to be expected here. I should have maybe done an intro episode, but I feel like gameplay is the best way to go when you're starting a new series. As we're set here to start the second half, so a little unconventional there, but we do get the ball to start, and we're going to see some Dylan Lonergan here to start the second half of play as Brathwaite on for the return. as he will take that up to the 19-yard line. Dylan Lonergan, the Boston College transfer by way of Alabama. Last year, he led the Eagles in passing yards and had 12 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. As he's joined by Antoine Raymond in the backfield. Back for Raymond, runs through the C gap, as he will get 7. Already 84 rushing yards here for Raymond. We might start to throw in some red shirts that we want to see the field a little bit this season, as Raymond up the middle again gets 5. We do have a sophomore running back that has impact development who we are going to redshirt more than likely, but still want to get him out on the field for 4 games, and we might throw him out there here in this one. And now on the RPO, we stick it on the ground here for Benjamin as he works it outside, and he picks up 11. The running lanes have been opening up with ease so far today, but I'm not sure if that's just a product of the team we're playing against or if it's a product of, just the slider set we have. So, of course, we can't base anything just off of one game, and we have to wait it out a little bit. As here, just a few options. Going back to the ball was Raymond, and nothing doing incomplete. So if you couldn't tell already, our passing attack, not the most traditional, but we are going to, especially when we're leading by 14, we're going to take more of that ground game approach, which is going to be the identity of our offense over this dynasty, as Antoine Raymond, another give, gets 4. Now here on 3rd and 6, we'll try and get this screen for Benjamin and start this drive with a first down, which he would have spaced out a little bit more, but does find some lanes, and he gets across midfield for the first down. Injury time out there for the Minutemen, and we now have a fresh set at the 43-yard line. Lonergan, a quick one, was going to be knocked down at the line. We had Black open, but incomplete. And now 3 backs in the backfield, thieving in Benjamin and Raymond. But it will be the give there for Raymond up the middle, and he just hits that second gear so quickly. It's almost like he's immediately in second gear on exchange. And that one for 18. He's now over 100 here in week 1. This may be the last series for Antoine Raymond. We don't want to, give him too much on the wear and tear to start this season. And we do want to work in some of our other backs as well. Now on the play action, we will dump it off for him. And that could be a constant in our offense this season. Breaks the tackle, and he gets the first down. Now at the 15-yard line, and we were going to go play action here, but we'll just play it safe. Go back to the ground here for Blake. Even though he's a tight end, he's our starter at fullback. And that's already his 3rd give of the day. Not as successful as his others, as he gets only 2 that time. But coming out and already, bleeding 4 minutes of this 3rd quarter, driving down the field. That's a big win for this Rutgers team. Already up 2 touchdowns. Now over the middle off the RPO, we go for KJ Duff, and he will find pay dirt for the first time this season. And we've now scored touchdowns on every drive pretty much, except that last drive at the end of the first half. And Dylan Lonergan, his first touchdown as a member of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights after transferring over from Boston College. So not making it easy, between AJ Sarace and Dylan Lonergan. Both have looked good so far early on in this week 1 game. And we'll see how we go into the next week if we, take the same approach of playing it pretty much 50-50, or if we, start to favor one more over the other. But at this rate, you got to go with the hot hand. But if both are hot, that's what makes it a little more tricky. But now UMass desperate for an answer. Good spin move on the return, as they'll take over now down 21 points, 7:45 left in the 3rd. And we'll see what William Watson III can do here. They go to the ground game, and that sets up nicely for him, 8 yards. 2nd and 2 now at the 25. Watson III. Again, going to step up and run. That's Walker in the open field, misses the tackle, as Watson's still going. Hit hard there at midfield by Bradley Jones, transferred over from the Kittadell. And the UMass Minutemen getting something going here. Really, it just takes a minute for them to get up the field when Watson is scrambling. And I think we might have even had to contain that time, but did not work up the middle, as they go a little trickeration that time. Ends up in the hands of the fullback, kind of following our theme on offense, getting the fullback tight end in on the ground. And that one is going to go for 13 yards, so the Minutemen a few good plays here. And just like that, they're in Rutgers territory. Setting a man there in motion, and they do fake it to him, as Watson III scanning downfield, running to the right now, and again going to keep it and run, as he is hit after a 12-yard gain. This time we're going to send a nickel blitz, and maybe we can catch him with a DB running after him this time. Again, empty with a man in motion around to the backfield. Watson III, again, going to just step up and run. I'm not sure where that blitz was. I wasn't looking, but obviously it did not get home, as again, Watson right up the gut. Maybe it's time to start making some adjustments. I haven't really been paying attention. We'll pinch the line. Maybe that'll eat up those A-gaps better, as they go back to the ground game for 3. 2nd and 7 at the 10-yard line. See what the Minutemen do here. They're going to try and set up a screen that's picked off by Humes. The Maryland transfer all the way back. Green grass ahead. And just when he thought UMass was going to get into the end zone, it's Humes who's going to get into the opposite end zone. And we get the pick six here in our home opener of this dynasty. That's Kevin Humes. As I said, the Maryland transfer, as we get the huge play defensively. And that is a long pick six, almost 90 yards, I want to say. As we bit on the underneath throw that time, you know, just telegraphing that screen. Humes was down in the flat there, reading it all the way, and he says, "Peace out, no one's catching me, deuces. I'm taking this ball home with me, and I am going to score." So 35-7 now for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and you couldn't draw this one up much better. And now 5:04 remaining in this third quarter of play. UMass going to try it again after they went -6 last time out. Watson the third still out there at quarterback, trying to salvage some respect here at the end of the game as they go back to the ground game. And Walker all over that one, a TFL. Moses Walker, one of our lead linebackers on this team, along with Ty Morris, who actually did leave the game due to a high ankle sprain, and he will not return. Now 2nd and 11. Going to set up a screen there as they swing it to the sideline. Tyson on initial contact, and that will not go far. And now we'll bring out the dime set here for the first time, as they're pretty much guaranteed to throw it. And Watson, actually not the case there. They called the pass, but did not throw it, as Watson the third stopped short, as that will be 4th and inches. So I think just the second punt of the day that we forced on the UMass Minutemen, punting from their own 26-yard line, as they struck first in this game, but since it's been 35 unanswered points for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, as we'll take over at the 42-yard line, and we are going to bring in a different running back here. It is going to be Benjamin on this snap, but we're going to one of our sophomores that we have a red shirt on. We also have a wide receiver out there, Dysere Carter, who was the top recruit from this past recruiting class, as he's out on the field for the first time in his college career. Benjamin that time totes it for 13 after breaking that initial tackle. And our running backs have looked good so far in this one. And now here we're going to go for the swing screen here for Thievenin. Already 1 catch in this game. Try and make it 2, although that was covered well. So Lonergan just going to be flushed out, and we'll get rid of it. And there's Terrell Mitchell, the sophomore, who, like I said, we are going to redshirt this year, but look to play him in 4 games to preserve that eligibility, as he will finish out this week 1 against UMass. As his first carry, he gets 3. Now on 3rd and 7, again, we have that stacked front. We even have a tackle running a route right now. So we'll call an audible, go to the read option, and see how this... Actually, we'll call it... I was going to call a timeout, but the flag beat us to it. And now we'll be out in gun tray with 4 receivers, as we'll try and give Lonergan another chance here to make a play downfield, as there haven't been many opportunities for him just with the big lead. We didn't really want to test too much, as we'll go to KJ Duff, that one a little bit behind him, and we will be forced to punt here with 1:40 left in the third quarter. I think our first punt of the day, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if we can coffin corner them here inside the 5. We've gotten a lot better at the punts here, changing up the approach. Shout out to Obscure Victories Gaming, the Unheralded Dynasty. And that one, not what I wanted. I want that bounce into the corner, which I have gotten quite a bit offline so far in my limited playthroughs of this game, but not so lucky that time. As now the Minutemen back out on offense. 1:35 remaining in this third quarter. Going to try and restore some dignity here, trailing 28 against this Big Ten program. Back to the ground game as a big lane opens up, and that one all the way down to the 28. Watson now out there empty as we hit the minute mark in this third quarter. Quarterback draws. He's going to try and sweep to the right. He's hit hard by Moses Walker, but does get a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9 now, less than 30 seconds in this third quarter. A quick screen there as they do get the completion, and that's Levy with the tackle. 3rd and 8. We'll see if they call one final play here, and they will not. So 35-7 now heading into this final quarter of play. Welcome to the Rutgers Dynasty here on College Football 27. In the next episode, we're going to do kind of a little roster introduction, take a look at our head coach, Warren Wolf, all our characteristics and all that. Our first look at the Heisman watch as Jeremiah Smith, Dante Moore, Malachi Toney headline this year's class. But like I said, we're trying to get Antoine Raymond into the mix. And if we can string together some wins, he is definitely going to be a big reason for that. And I think would maybe even put himself into the conversation. Now here the first play of the fourth quarter. 3rd and 8 for the Minutemen trying to get the conversion. Man in motion there as Watson on the drop back. Going to the sideline. He has that into the bucket there. I thought Bradley Jones would get over, but a good pitch and catch there. That's Pedro on the catch. And finally, the Minutemen get a nice conversion down the field. I mean, we really haven't had many ourselves. More so focusing on the running game. And now Watson again on the drop back over the middle. As he completes that to a tight end 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5. On the drop back. And it's a fumble on the sack. I don't know if they took Watson out or if he got hurt, but that was their backup quarterback as he is greeted pleasantly on the sack. Fumbles, but UMass recovers. And I still can't believe how this game started with that scoop and score on the initial drive for the Minutemen, as now they try and set up a screen and they do get blockers in front and they do get the first down. So RJ Johnson the second now into the game at quarterback for the Minutemen, now in a blowout here into the 4th quarter and off the exchange. And that was a huge hit on impact. Rondarius Porter, we mentioned him as a transfer coming over from Appalachian State, and he is one of our starting D tackles, but makes up 3 out of the 4 transfers we have starting on the defensive line. And now off the fake, Johnson hits a man that's going to be disrupted by Wright, incomplete. Now 3rd and 12, exactly 9 minutes left. They go on the fake as Johnson is going down the field. That's caught by the tight end pretty much through double, triple coverage. I'm sorry, that was just double coverage, but I thought we had the play on the ball there. Maybe an interception opportunity as that went through our fingertips into the fingertips of the tight end there for the conversion. So Minutemen still some life here late in the game. Still somewhat of a pulse as Johnson on the drop back. And he's going to sail that to the sideline, and that's dropped. Or more so batted, it looked like, playing volleyball. Although a tough catch nonetheless, you know, up in the air, body going out of bounds. As Johnson sets that one up quickly as Humes on first contact can't make the stop, but does push him back, and that nets in a 3-yard loss. Make it now 3rd and 13. Man in motion for the Minutemen. Johnson has a man again. That's a tight end. They're just beating us apart here towards the end of the game. These tight ends, number 11, will find the end zone. I wish I knew the names of the players, given proper recognition. That's Dowling as the UMass Minutemen, their first touchdown since that first drive. I think that ended just like 2 minutes into the game on that scoop and score from Harding. I believe it was T.Y. Harding. And now they do find the end zone again, although we did have some reserves on the field. But still, we wanted to get a stop there and stay strong defensively. But the extra point up and good makes it 35-14 with 7:31 left in this game. On this final drive, going to try and just, you know, go to the running game, bleed this clock, and maybe find the end zone one more time as Benjamin on the return makes it to the 22. Now we're going to try some triple option strong here, as we'll give the pitch there to Mitchell, and he has a lot of space to the outside. Terrell Mitchell now past the 40-yard line, breaks the tackle, still in bounds as he spins, cuts back, and now he's in the end zone, and that one is going to go for 78 yards. And he says, "Are you sure you want to redshirt me? I think you need me on the field." It's like, I know we have Antoine Raymond as he's digging the grave deeper for the UMass Minutemen. Oh my goodness. I was just trying to burn the clock, get out of here with an easy win, and just, you know, burn out this final 7 minutes or so. But Terrell Mitchell had other plans, as he had plans for pay dirt, and he takes that all the way back 78 yards off the triple option. And you know, that's really not the name of the game of Dylan Lonergan, but he's definitely an athletic quarterback, very evenly matched with AJ Sarace, and he can run this playbook, although I don't think either of them the optimal quarterbacks we want running this playbook. We want more of a dual threat, someone who can, you know, take the shots, run the ball a lot more. But what a game here in week 1 again. I really appreciate all the viewership on this episode. Hopefully you stick around for the duration. We're going to try and get at least 1 or 2 video up every week or two. I can't really commit to a set timeline, but this is soon going to be the main focus on the channel. We're going to get a new expansion franchise going once the new Madden game releases. But at that point, those should be really the only 2 series we have going. And then we'll start a new NHL expansion franchise once that game is released come September, I believe. But a false start there on UMass, as it's just going to drag on from here on out. 42-14 from Piscataway, New Jersey, as they go play action. Rolling to the left there is Johnson as he hooks up with a man, and that will go for 8. Now 2nd and 7. We'll see how they play this final drive, going to the running game. Decent blocks opening up to the outside, and that gets 2. 3rd and 5, running the double mug here. We're going with a blitz, trying to disrupt this young quarterback. Although they go back to the ground, and they don't get the first down as we hit the halfway point of this fourth and final quarter, and they are going to play it aggressively here, go for it on 4th and inches from their own 35-yard line. I mean, at this point, what do you got to lose? And they are going to throw it. A quick one there as they do not get the completion, so a good play there, man coverage, as our corner forced it free. And we'll have Terrell Mitchell back out there after that 78-yard touchdown scamper, this time from just 35 yards, though, as we'll look to bleed some clock. No gain that time. Here we'll go to the jet touch pass to Ben Black. I think just one catch so far in this game. And so he'll swing that up for 6. And now we see Kaiser Carter, number 0, out there, the top recruit from this past recruiting class for Rutgers, covered well as he goes upfield, but Lonergan just going to keep it as he's forced out of bounds after a 7-yard scramble. And again, we'll just try a little touch pass here for Ben Black. They wouldn't be expecting it twice in a row, pretty much, would they? As Black to the outside being chased, and he'll be brought down after 8. And you got to love how that counts as passing yards here for Dylan Lonergan, as we'll audible to slants, as Blake again is in the backfield. See if Kaiser Carter can beat press here, but we ran out of time. I wasn't really paying attention. Delay of game. I forgot we had the accelerated clock on at this point, the chew clock feature, as that backed us up 5. Now we'll try a RPO there on the screen. Can Allen break the tackle? He does not, so that goes for no gain. We'll just give it to the ground game again here and try and set up a field goal attempt, because we definitely want to get a field goal attempt under our belt. That can be a little sporadic at times. We go back to Mitchell as he will find the first down to the second level, and that's going to be an 11-yard gain. And that will take us to the 2-minute timeout here at the end of the game. Try and get one more touchdown under our belt. Maybe could even just knee it, be some good sports, but we want to get some stats here, because that definitely does make a difference in terms of player happiness and recruiting and all that fun stuff. So Lonergan, another drop back here. A quick one. We'll get Cameron Anthony as that's botched out and was batted up in the air, but no one there to catch it. And the most important thing, that does stop the clock, unfortunately, as it's now 2nd and goal. And we'll go up the middle to Blake again, as that keeps the clock rolling. Again, we'll go to the ground game here. Kind of hoping we don't get the touchdown, just so we get one more chance to bleed some more time off the clock. But as I've been kind of reiterating, thank you so much for viewing this episode of this Rutgers Dynasty. A far way to go, but a great way to start as we go back to Blake. But we have a lot of work to do in recruiting if we want to, get this roster, especially on offense, where we want to get the personnel that fit our scheme. And then we'll bring on Patel for a little field goal attempt here. Always tough on this angle, but I think we'll be all right to make it a 45-14 affair here from Shai Stadium. Pretty much from the right hash here, as that kick is up, and that one into good hands as we get that one. So another score here for our Rutgers Scarlet Knight. Pretty much a flawless start to the season. It didn't start flawlessly after that bizarre touchdown, which, welcomed us into this new series on the channel, into the Warren Wolf tenure in Piscataway. But, of course, through adversity, that's when character is built, and we certainly showcased that in this game, coming back and scoring 45 of the last 52 points, as another big play there off the block was Rondarius Porter. And if his play in this one is any indication, he might be up for like 2nd team All Big Ten honors this season, as that will do it here. Our Rutgers Scarlet Knights are victorious from Shai Stadium in week 1 as we start this series, this dynasty, on a high note. And I am just at a loss for words. I really did not expect here, especially my first game, as I was saying, I haven't played this game much, but to come in and just dominate Massachusetts, which we should do. Like I said, an 0-12 team last year, so a 30-point victory or whatever it was is certainly to be expected, but we have to carry this into our future weeks when we, like I said, start playing the tougher teams in USC, Ohio State, Michigan. We'll see how we hold up against the likes of those 5-star programs, because our Rutgers team only a 2-star program. As we'll look at the stats here, AJ Stray started the game 9 for 15, 118 passing, and he was 7.8 average. Dylan Lonergan 6 for 11, 47 yards with 1 touchdown, our only passing touchdown in this game. Rushing the rock, Antoine Raymond 15 for 110, 2 touchdowns, and he is going to be an absolute playmaker for us this season. Jayshon Benjamin was 6 for 35. Blake 5 for 21. The 6'6", 265-pound tight end was getting some carries in this game. And of course, Terrell Mitchell went 78 yards to the house. He was 4 for 92, a score. And we also had Vernon Allen III, our first touchdown of this series. He took that 27 yards off an option as we're going to get some receivers, some rushing stats here. More than likely receiving, Antoine Raymond 4 catches, 54 yards. KJ Duff had 3 for 64 and a touchdown. Ben Black had 3 for 27. I think all of that was on jet touch passes. And defensively leading our team in tackles, we had Moses Walker and Ty Morris, the Rice transfer. They also had a tackle for loss each, but Rondarius Porter 3 tackles for loss, a sack, as his Rutgers debut pretty much went as well as it could have. And same story for Ty Morris, as he also had a sack. Kevin Humes, the Maryland transfer, had a pick 6, which really set the tone early in the second half, as he took that back 83 yards to the house. And we had Jai Patel, 1-for-1 hit from 22 with 6 extra points, and really not much to note elsewhere. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad to have finally gotten a College Football 27 Dynasty out on the channel. I hope you subscribe, you come back for more, and you follow along as we rebuild this Rutgers football program with head coach Warren Wolf and try to make them one of the best in the best conference in all of college football here in the Big Ten. Next week, we face Boston College and Dylan Lonergan's return against his former team, although we're more than likely again to start AJ Sarace and have that quarterback battle going, continuing into week 2. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.